Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Was Big Brother of Kirishima movie. Before we start, please go support Bebop 945 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. Izuku is the big brother of Kirishima, after their parents passed away when they were younger. Izuku has to take on multiple jobs to help his brother make it to his dream school, and Kiri has second thoughts about going because he is worried about his brother's health. But Kiri has amazing friend and sister in Mina who tells him to go to UA. The beginning. Waiting in the halls of a hospital is a very happy year-old named Izuku Kirishima. The reason he is so excited is because he can't wait to meet his little brother. Father, how much longer until we can go in to see mother? Izuku said, looking up to his father, who in return said, "You will just have to wait, my little dragon." Right as his father finished his sentence, the doctor came out of the room his wife was in, saying, "I am looking for the Kirishima family." When Izuku and his father heard their last name, they walked over to the doctor, who led them into the room. Once Izuku got into the room, he ran over to his mother, who was holding his new baby brother. When Izuku got to his mother's bedside, he gave her a big hug, and then looked at his baby brother. "Izuku, would you like to hold him?" To which Izuku got excited and said, "Yes, I would like to hold him, and I promise I will be careful with him." As Izuku was given his brother, his father came over to his wife, giving her a kiss on the head, saying how proud he was of her. Then he asks his wife if their new son has a name yet, in which she shakes her head, saying no. "I think Izuku should name him," said Mississippi Kirishima. "I think that is a perfect idea, dear." "What do you say, our little dragon?" said Mr. Kirishima. Izuku then looked up at his parents with a very big smile, saying, "I have already picked a name for him, and if you two didn't already, and I think it should be Aijuru." "That is a lovely name, Izuku. Now can you bring him over here so I can put him to sleep, please?" "Okay, mother." Then he whispered into Aijuru's ear, "I will protect you with my life. No matter what happens, I will always be your big brother." Meeting Mina and the accident. A year-old Aijuru Kirishima is playing at the park, where he sees a pink girl with yellow horns get picked on by a group of kids. "Hey, it's not manly to pick on other people," yelled Kirishima as he ran over to the group of kids to help the pink girl. The pink girl looked at Kirishima asking, "Why are you helping someone like me?" Kiri then looked back at her and said, "Because that is what heroes do, and it wouldn't be very manly of me not help you." She then started to cry, and the bullies started to laugh at the two of them. "You really think she needs to be saved? Cause how I see it, she needs to be beat down, cause she looks like an alien," said one of the bullies. Kiri then looked the bully right in the eyes and then punched him so hard on the nose that it started to bleed, which made the others scared, so they ran away. "Hey, I never got your name." "My name is Aijuru Kirishima." "My name is Mina Ashido, and thanks for helping me. I was wondering if you would like to be friends." "I would love to be your friend, Mina." Right as Kiri finished his sentence, he heard his name being called. "Sorry, Mina, but I have to go now. I hope to see you again very soon." "That's okay, Kiri, I hope to see you again as well," said Mina as she is waving to Kiri as he walks away. Once Kiri finds the voice that called him, which is his big brother Izuku. "Hey Aijuru, we need to get going home now so we can go out for dinner. Also, how was your time at the park?" Kiri looked up at his brother with the brightest smile, saying, "I had fun and I made a new friend named Mina. I had to save her from a group of bullies that were picking on her, and I may have also punched one of the bullies." "That is very good that you helped her, but please don't punch anyone next time, please, okay? Also, I won't tell Mom and Dad. This will be our little secret. Sounds good?" "Yes, brother, I promise not to punch anyone else." Once the two boys got home, Izuku noticed that the front door was open a bit, and one of the windows was broken. Izuku then told Kiri to go to the neighbor's house so they could call the police. "Why do I need to?" Izuku then looked down to Kiri with a very serious face, which Kiri has never seen on his brother before. "Kiri, please just listen to what I ask, okay? I will explain to you later what is happening." "Okay, brother." After Kiri left for the neighbor's house, Izuku then goes into the house. When he made it to the living room, he finds his parents dead on the floor with varying degrees of injuries. Izuku then ran up to his parents, cross screaming while trying to wake them up, even though he already knows they are dead. "Mom, Dad, please wake up, you need to be here for me and Kiri. Come on please, we really need you." Over with Kiri at the neighbor's house, he knocked on the door and an older woman walked out saying, "Hello young boy, what do you need?" Hello ma'am, I was wondering if I could use your phone to call the police, please. Right then they hear a scream over at the Kirishima household. The lady then said, "Come in while I call the police." Also, do you know who that was? Yes, I do know, that was my big brother Izuku. Kiri then walked into the house with the lady with a scared face, worried that something happened to his brother. Minutes later, some pro-heroes and police show up and find Izuku crying over his parents' bodies. One of the officers walked over to Izuku saying, "Hello young man, we got a call saying that something had happened here. So I was wondering if you could tell me what had happened." "Even though we can tell what happened, poor boy." Izuku then looked up with tears running down his face. "When me and my little brother got home from the park, I found the door open and one of the windows broken. I then told my little brother to go call you guys, as I came into the house to find my parents like this." "Okay, thanks for telling me. Now will you follow me outside so we can go find your little brother? Also, could you tell me if you have any other family you could live with?" "Yes, sir. Also, I don't have any other family. But it's fine, I think we will be fine to live by ourselves if we need to." Poor kid, the officer thinks. Once they get outside, they see Kiri standing with the old lady behind the police tape. Once the two brothers see each other, they run to each other hugging, and Izuku started to cry again. "Brother, why are you crying?" When Izuku heard that, he broke down more, saying, "Ijiro, I am so sorry. I can't believe I am saying this. But Mom and Dad are dead, I am sorry." "What, that can't be true, Izu, we just saw them this morning. How can they be dead?" The two brothers cried in each other's arms until Kiri fell asleep. After that, Izuku started to wonder how the future will be for the two of them, before UA and the exam. Years later, the two brothers are living in a cheap apartment. Kiri and Mina have become close friends over the past years. Izuku and Mina have also become close, having a siblings bond. Izuku got to never finish school cause he had to work and take care of Kiri. Izuku's first job is at a cat cafe during the weekdays, and at night he would do car repairs. Kiri would also get small jobs during the summer to help Izuku pay bills, but Izuku would always make him spend it on himself. Now we go to the last day of middle school with Kiri and Mina. The two of them are walking out school talking about random things. "Kiri babe, what are you going to do over the summer break?" "I am going to do some training to get ready for UA." "Well Mina, I am hopefully going to do some small jobs again this summer so I can help my brother pay for my schooling. I am also going to get some training done as well." "Kiri babe, you know he is just going to make you keep the money like he always does. Also, we should train together, and maybe if big brother Izu is not working he could help us, cause we all know how good of a teacher he is." "Yeah, I know. I just would hate for him to get another job just so I can go to my dream school. I am also scared that he is going to work himself to death one of these days," Kiri said, starting to cry, and then continued, "Also, I will see if he will help train us." Mina then looked over at her crying best friend and gave him a big hug, telling him how everything is going to be okay. After they let go of their hug and Kiri dried his tears, Mina said, "How about we go get some food and maybe some baking supplies so we can make something for Izu?" "That sounds like a good idea, Mina. I think we should make him his favorite food and maybe some cookies." "Oh yeah, that sounds perfect, he will be sure to love it," Mina says, smiling happily. After the two pick up everything that they need, they go to Kiri's house to start. When they walk into the house, Kiri sees a note saying, "Hey Kiri and Mina, most likely I have to work late tonight at the shop and I most likely won't be home until after midnight, so please don't stay up waiting for me, please. Also tell Mina she is more than welcome to stay the night if she likes. Love, your big brother." Kiri then sets the note down with a sad look, which makes Mina sad as well. "Well, what did the note say, Kiri babe?" "It said that he is going to be home extra late tonight and that he doesn't want me to stay up late waiting for him. He also said that you can stay for the night if you like." "Oh okay, I hope it's not too late. Also, I will stay over so we can make those cookies for Izu and maybe watch some TV as well." "Sounds good, Mina. Well, I am going to go call my mother to let her know that I am staying here," said Mina as she walks away to call her mother and change out of her uniform. Kiri also went to his room to change as well after putting everything in the kitchen. Later, when they make dinner and their cookies, they go into the living room to watch some TV. "Hey Kiri babe, what kind of show do you want to watch?" "I think we should watch something funny." "Then we should watch Rick and Morty, we haven't watched the new episodes yet." "Great idea, Kiri babe." The two of them sit on the couch under the blanket watching TV until they fall asleep. Hours later we see a tall man with horns, a tail and scales going up his arms come through the door and his work outfit covered in dirt and grease. Once he gets through the door, he hears the TV on and he starts to wonder if his younger brother stayed up waiting for him. When he gets to the living room he is happy to see Mina and Kiri sleeping. He then turns off the TV and fixes their blanket, then kisses both of them on foreheads saying goodnight. Izuku then goes to his room to have a shower and then goes to bed. The next day Kiri wakes up to see the TV off knowing that it was Izuku. Kiri then saw Mina laying on him so he started to shake her to wake her up. "Hey Mina, wake up, we need to make breakfast." Mina then started to slowly wake up saying, Okay, I am up Kiri. Also, what are we going to make? I was thinking of making pancakes. Oh, that sounds yummy. Also, did Big Brother Isaac come home? He must have, because when I woke up cause the TV was off. The two of them then got off the couch and started to get ready for the day, then they made their pancakes. Once the pancakes were done they put them on a tray with orange juice and went to Izuku's room. Once they got to Izuku's room Kiri knocked on door saying, "Hey big bro, it's time to wake up. Also me and Mina made pancakes." They heard Izuku tell them to come in, and when they did they noticed how tried Izuku looked. "Good morning little bro and sis. Also thanks for making breakfast, but you do know I would have made it. We know that Izu, and we were wondering what time did you get home at last night. I didn't get home until AM, but did you two end up doing last night? We ended up making cookies for you and we were also wondering if you could help train us for you, eh?" said Mina. Kiri then said, "Yes, could you help us? Also you need to stop staying at work so late please." "Sorry about that Kiri, I try not to stay late, and I would be honored to help you two train. Thank you big bros / Izu," said Mina and Kiri. Over the next couple of months of summer Kiri and Mina would do small jobs during the week and during the weekend would train with Izuku. Now we go to the day of the entrance exam. Izuku and Kiri are eating breakfast until they hear a knock at the door, which Kiri goes to answer seeing Mina at the door with very big smile. "Good morning Kiri babe, are you ready for the exam?" "Good morning to you as well, and yes I am ready. I just need to finish eating." The two of them then hear Izuku yell saying, "Hey Kiri, who is at the door?" Kiri then said back, "Don't worry Izuku, it's just Mina." "Well, let her in for a bit." Izuku yelled back, "Well Mina, would you like to in for a bit even though I know the answer?" "I would love to come in Kiri babe, and you should have known that answer." The two of them then walk into the apartment together, and Mina sees Izuku in the kitchen making some breakfast. She then runs over to Izuku to give him a hug. "Good morning Mina, are you ready for the exam and would like some breakfast as well?" "Good morning Izu. I am ready for the exam thanks to you, and I am good on breakfast, I already ate at home." "Well that's okay, you can go watch some TV while Kiri finishes eating." "Okay Izu." Mina then goes to the living room to watch TV as Kiri finishes eating. Later when the two are ready to leave they both say goodbye to Izuku, who wishes both of them good luck. The two of them then get to UA where they wish each other good luck and go their different ways. Kiri does the written part, and then later goes to where Mike talks about the exam, and see how a kid with blue hair yells at Mike for not talking about the 0-pointer. Kiri then goes to his exam site where he sees a kid with yellow hair with a black lighting bolt look nervous. So he walks up to them to talk. "Hey bro, what's wrong?" The boy jumps from being scared. "Oh hey man, what do you need? I just wanted to see if you were okay cause you look nervous. Also my name is Kirishima. Yeah, I am nervous and scared. Also my name is Kaminari. Thank you for coming to check on me." "That's okay man, I hope we can be friends and get into the same class. I would like that." After Kami said that, Mike started to count down for the exam to start. After the exam Mina and Kiri meet at the front gate and started to walk home telling each other how their exam went. Once they got home to Kiri's apartment they both went inside to find Izuku watching TV. "Hey kiddos, how was the exam?" "The exam went good and I think I made a new friend named Kaminari," said Kiri. "That's nice Kiri, and Mina, how about you?" "It was good Izu. We should be getting our results in about 2 weeks." "That's good, and maybe you two should have a shower and then come watch some TV with me." "Yes bros / Izu," said Kiri and Mina as they walked to their rooms. When they were done the small group watched TV for the rest of the day. The results, and the first day. 2 weeks later gets a letter in the mail from UA. He then calls Mina to see if she got hers. When Mina said yes, Kiri then suggested that she comes over to his house to open them. When Mina got to the house they both sit in the living room and open their letters at the same time. Almight then popped up on the screen telling the two of them that they made into Class 1A. Yay Kiri, we made it, and into the best class as well. I wonder how Izuku is going to react when he finds out. I think he will be proud of us cause he trained us, but I am also worried about the cost of school now that I think about it. I don't think the 2 jobs Izuku has now will help pay for the cost. Like I am going to use some of my own money, but Mina, this is so hard. Mina, I know Kiri babe. I know that Izuku will be proud of you and he will find any way to help keep you on your path to being a hero. Yeah, but Mina, how can I be a hero if I can't help my brother? Well, just do what you have been doing. Okay, Mina. After Kiri said that, the two of them heard the door open to hear Izuku come in saying, "Is anyone home?" Kiri and Mina then both say they are home. Izuku then walked into the living room saying, "Well, hello kiddos, what did your letters say?" "We both got into Class 1A, which is the best hero course class," said Mina. Kiri then said with sad tone, "Well, I don't know if I want to go anymore." Izuku then looked at Kiri with a shocked and sad face saying, "Why Kiri, you worked so hard to get there. Why do you want to give up now?" "It's because you might have to get another job just to pay for my schooling, and the only days you don't work is the weekend, and I am also worried that you are going to work yourself to death and I can't lose you too." Kiri was now crying. "I don't care if I have to get another job just to pay for your schooling, cause you are my little brother, and this has been your dream since you were little. So let me worry about this and you worry about becoming the greatest hero you can." Kiri then started to cry more and gave his brother a big hug, in which Izuku returned. Mina then also joined the hug, crying as well, saying, "Kiri babe, if I know Izuku, he would do anything for you to become a hero. I know, and that's why he is the best brother in the world." When Izuku heard that, he got a really big smile on his face, and then looks up thinking to himself, says, "Mom, Dad, I hope you are proud of me and what Kiri has become." "Well kiddos, why don't you get cleaned up and then we'll go get some ice cream? I think you both earned it." Both Mina and Kiri both dried their tears yelling, why, and then ran to their rooms. 1 week later, Kiri wakes up to the sound of his alarm. After turning it off, planning on falling back asleep until he opened his eyes, looking at the date on his phone, realizing that it's the first day of UA. Kiri then started to run around his room getting ready for school until he heard a knock at the door, hearing Izuku say, "Kiri, are you ready for your first day of school?" "Yes, I am ready," Kiri said, opening his door to see his brother standing there with the look of parents seeing their kid off to college. Kiri went up to his brother, giving him a hug while the two of them teared up a bit. "Kiri, I am so proud of the man you are becoming, and I believe Mom and Dad would be as well. I think they would as well." This sad moment between the brothers was interrupted by a knock at the door, which Kiri goes to answer, seeing Mina, who he lets in. "Hey Kiri babe, are you excited about today, and why do you look sad?" Me and Izuku were having a moment. "Oh okay, and shouldn't he be at work right now?" "You know what, I was wondering that as well." Kiri then went to the kitchen with Mina trailing behind him. "Hey Izuku, Mina is here. Also, I was wondering, shouldn't you be at work right now?" Izuku looked up from what he was doing and looked over at his two favorite kiddos. "I took the day off from the cafe. I still have work tonight. I just wanted to see you two off on your first day, as well as go job hunting." "Oh okay brother. So will you be walking with us to the train station? And I am also happy you are taking a day off." "Yes, I will walk with you to the train station if that is alright with you too." Mina and Kiri looked at each other, then at Izuku, saying, "We would love if you walked with us." Izuku then gave a very big smile to the two of them. "Well, are you kiddos ready to start your path in becoming heroes?" The two heroes in training looked at Izuku, cheering, yes. Minutes later, when they get to the train station that goes to UA, the three siblings did a big group hug with Izuku, telling the two how proud he is of them. Izuku then took a picture of the two before they said goodbyes and got onto the train. Minutes later, when the two of them get to UA and then find Class 1A, they both stop at the door with Kiri saying, "I can't believe we made it." "Well Kiri babe, I believe it cause we did make it." The two then walked into the classroom. Looking around, they noticed an angry blonde and a tall blue-haired kid fighting. They then both walked to their desks, and after they did, the teacher came into the room. The teacher then walked to the front of the room and started talking. "Hello students, my name is Shota Aizawa, also known as Eraserhead. I will be your teacher for the next 3 years." Aizawa then pulled out a box with uniforms, saying, "Now come and get a uniform, then meet me out at the field." A girl with brown hair then raised her hand, saying, "But Mr. Aizawa, what about orientation?" "Well, my class, my rules, so do as I say." Everyone then got up and grabbed their uniforms to go change. In the boys' change room you can see a very short grape-head kid over at a wall with a poster on it. "Hey bro," the short boy said, looking at a kid with yellow hair with a black lighting bolt. The previous class seemed to have left a peephole to the girls' change room. "I wonder what I will see," the yellow-haired kid then said. "Hey man, I don't think that's a good idea, you might get in very big trouble with this." Kiri overheard the two that were talking over by the wall. He didn't mean to, but he was worried when they started talking about the girls, he assumed. So he walked over to the two. "Hey little dude, I think you should listen to this guy, cause one, that's not very manly, and two, cause my sister is over there and I won't hesitate to hit you." Great boy then looked up at Kiri saying, "I don't care what you say, cause you're not the boss of me." He then tried looking through the hole, but before he could see anything he gets hit by Kiri, which scares Kaminari, who then walks away to finish getting change. "I told you not to do that." On the other side of the wall we see a girl with purple hair and earphone jacks listening to the wall. "Hey girls, you might want to cover up, that little grape man is trying to peek." As she looks at the other girls, she noticed Mina not covering up. "Hey Pinky, aren't you going to cover up?" Mina then looked over at her. "I'm not worried because my friend will deal with that little previous." "Okay, but who is your free dash?" As Jiro was in the middle of her sentence they heard a loud noise. Mina then smiles saying, "Well girls, that was friend Kirishima beating the Prev. We should also finish getting ready." After everyone finished getting ready they all headed outside to the field. Aizawa was standing at the field with his arms crossed with an angry face, which scared the class except the two friends. They know Izuku can be scarier. "It's your first day and y'all are already late for your first class. If you want to be proper heroes you need to get ready faster or you're going to lose innocent lives." The whole class looked at each other with different expressions because they already disappointed their teacher. Aizawa then continued with his speech saying, "Okay hell spawns, we are going to do some tests to see where each of you are at with your quirk, and if you get into last place you are going to get expelled." All of them had shocked faces and a couple of them said, "How is that far?" Or, "You can't do that, it's only the first day." With a creepy smile which made the class more comfortable, Aizawa then said, "This is my class, so my rules like I said before, and if you have a problem with that you can leave now." The class then did their tests, finding out that someone getting expelled was a lie. But we know that's not true, he just saw a lot of potential with this class. Now we go back to the classroom with Aizawa telling everyone to get to know each other. With the students trying to figure out how they are going to get to know each other, we go to Mina, who stands up saying, "How about each of us go up to the front one by one and say our name, and then saw why we want to be a hero?" A lot of the class agreed with her, so most of the class went until we get to Kiri and Mina. Mina goes up first saying, "My name is Mina Ishido, and the reason I want to be a hero is so I can help people and someone close to me that I want to help as well." Kiri then goes up saying, "Hello, my name is Kirishima Ijuru, and the reason I want to be hero so I can make someone close to me proud and to help them." Kiri and Mina look at each other knowing they want to help the same person, their big brother. We now skip to lunchtime where Kiri and Mina are trying to find somewhere to sit, but then they see Kaminari waving his hand. When they get over to the group they notice that it's Bakugo, Siro, Kaminari and Jiro. As the two sit down saying, "Thanks for letting us sit with you guys," Siro then said, "That's quite alright. I think we will all become good friends, or at least that is my hopes." "Yeah, I would like to become friends with you all as well," said Kaminari excitedly. Bakugo then yelled, "Why the buck am I sitting here with you bucking losers?" Mina then leaned over to Kiri whispering, "I don't think Aiza would like his attitude." Kiri then said back, "I know if I acted like that I would get beat or worse. I just hope they don't have to meet one day. Yeah, I don't think that would be very good, Kiribabe." The group enjoyed the rest of lunch together with a yelling Bakugo. We skip to the end of the day with Kiri and Mina getting off the train and walk the rest of the way home to Kiri house. When they get to the house they walked over to the living room where they find Izuku passed out on the couch. He must have been very tired. "I feel so bad for him," Mina whispered to Kiri. Kiri then walked up to his brother putting the blanket on Izuku whispering, "Goodnight brother, love you." Finding another job. After Izuku dropped Kiri and Mina off at UA for their first day, he goes around looking for a place that would hire him and still let him keep his other jobs. He finds different flyers with many different jobs, but they either would not work for him, or he couldn't get because he never finished school. He is still pretty smart from helping Kiri and Mina with their homework. He keeps looking until he sees a job for a bouncer. Izuku then looks at the AD for a bit longer, then decides that it will be a good job. When Izuku finds the bar, he goes and then goes over to the counter asking, "Excuse me, I was wondering if I could talk to your manager about getting the bouncer job, please," the lady at the counter then said. "Yes, sir, come with me, please. He is just back here." The lady takes Izuku to the back of the bar, where the lady then knocks on the door, telling the person inside that there is someone here to talk to him. Before the lady left, she told Izuku to just go through the door. When Izuku goes through the door, seeing a middle-aged man sitting at a desk looking at his computer. When he gets fully into the office, the man looks up from what he was doing to look up at Izuku, smile as he says, "Hello, young man. How may I help you today?" Izuku then said. "I was hoping if I could get a job as a bouncer, please," then the man said. "And why would you like to get this job?" "Well, sir, the reason I want to get this job is so I can help my little brother keep his spot in his dream school, and it is really expensive." "What school does your brother go to?" "You don't have to tell me. I am just wondering. My brother goes to UA and is in Class 1A, which is the best hero course class you can get into." "Well, your brother must be very strong, and you must be very proud of him." "I am very proud of him, sir." The two continued talking until they heard loud commotion out in the bar area. "What is happening out there, sir?" asked Izuku, looking over to the manager, and then the manager said, "Most likely some asshole." "Well, let's go see what it's about, and maybe you can use this moment to see if I hire you." The two walk over to the main bar area, where they see a drunk asshole trying to touch the lady that Izuku talked to earlier. The lady then looked over to the two with a pleading look, saying, "Please help me, I don't feel safe with this man." Izuku then walks up to the man and pulls the drunk man off of the woman. The drunk man then turns around to look at Izuku, saying, "Why are you touching me, you piece of shit?" When he finally turned around and then looked up at Izuku, he then got scared. The man kept trying to apologize to the lady after Izuku gave him a death stare. After that, the man then ran out of the bar, and then the lady ran up to Izuku saying thank you for helping her. The boss then walked up to Izuku saying, "Young man, I think this job was made for you. So I would love to have you on my team if you will accept." "I would be honored to have the job, sir. But I was wondering if I could work the weekends only. But if you do need me during the week, I can come around AM. I am fine with you only coming around on the weekends, but if I need you during the week, I will give you a call." The group of three talk about Izuku getting the job. After hours of talking, Izuku gets some groceries and then goes home, putting them all away. Then he goes to the couch, falling asleep right away. Later, when Mina and Kiri get home, they find Izuku passed out on the couch. Hero vs. Villain training. It was the second day of UA, and it was the class's first day of hero training. The class is talking in their own little friend groups, with the Baku squad boys getting yelled at by Bakugo, and the only two girls of the group are talking about girly stuff and how the boys are being stupid. Jairu all of a sudden covers her ears, and Mina looks at her worried, asking, "Hey Jairu, what's wrong? Are the boys being too loud? Cause if they are, I will give them a piece of my mind." Jairu laughed at her friend and shakes her head no, saying, "No, it's not the boys. I just hear heavy footsteps coming towards the classroom, but I think I can handle it." "Oh good, I don't have to beat the boys, but I will if you need me to though." "I know you would." The two girls laughed until they heard the door open. In comes the NO. Hero of Japan, All Might. The class yells, most of them excited to see the hero. All Might then walks to the front of the classroom looking at all of the students and says, "Good morning students, it is I, All Might, and I hope you are all ready for your first day of hero training." All students cheered, and then All Might continued, "Everyone grab the suitcase with your number on it, and that will have your outfit inside of it. Now let's go plus ultra." After All Might was done talking, he pushes a button, and then one of the walls open up to show the suitcases with the class's hero outfits. The students get their outfits, and then go to the change rooms to get changed. Once everyone was done getting changed, they all meet in the viewing room of Ground Beta, where All Might then explains what they are going to do for the training exercise. "Okay students, today we are going to do hero versus villain training. Now you are going to pick numbers from this box, and the person with the same number as you is your partner for this." Each of the students pick a number. Mina then walks over to Kiri asking, "Hey Kiri babe, what number did you get?" "Hey Mina, I got number, how about you?" "I got number as well." "Now I wonder who we are going to fight." All Might then calls for all of the students to show him what numbers they got. Then he gets to the last two, he says, Okay, now Kirishima and Mina as heroes and Bakugo and Kaminari as villains. Kaminari looked scared to be Bakugo's partner. Bakugo then goes to Kaminari, dragging him to where they are going to hide the bomb. Mina and Kiri start talking about how they are going to pass the two blondes. Mina, I will be the shield and will most likely have to fight Boku bro, and you will go find the bomb, then fight Kaminari. Sounds like a good idea, Kiri babe. Almight then goes on the speaker saying, the heroes may enter now. Kiri and Mina walk into the building, getting to the second floor before Bakugo shows up, blasting Kiri, who turns on his Harding. Kiri then looks over at Mina asking if she is okay, then tells her to go find the bomb. Mina then runs away. Kiri and Bakugo start to fight, with Kiri mostly blocking. With Mina, she gets up to the fourth floor and finds the room with the bomb. When she does find the room, she pokes her head into the room to see where Kami is, who looks like he is not paying attention. Mina then sneaks into the room and then touches the bomb. All Might gets on the speaker again saying, heroes win. You may all return to the viewing room. When the group get back to the room, they then watch everyone else do their turns. When the class was over, everyone went to the cafeteria and the Baku squad all then go to their seats. Man, it's cool to have All Might as our teacher, said Kami. He then continued saying, what do you all think of All Might as a teacher/hero? I think he is cool and all, but I wish he would be more quiet, said Jiru. All Might is cool and all, but I have a different hero I like better, said Kiri. Which hero is that, bro? Asked Zero. My favorite hero is Crimson Roit. Cool, said Kami. Kiri really sees his brother as his favorite and number one hero, but he doesn't want to tell his friends yet. The group kept talking until lunch is over, and then they get ready to head for their next class. Share, meeting Kirishima brother. Everyone has been going to UA for about months now. The class is sitting at their desks listening to Aizawa teach them. Okay everyone, we are going to do a group project, and before anyone asks you can pick your groups and can also have as many as you want as well. Some of the class cheered. Aizawa then used his quirk to make the class quiet. After they did, Aizawa then continued to talk. Your project is about hero history. You get to pick 3 heroes and then make a slideshow about those heroes. You have weeks to complete this. The bell then rings and Aizawa says, you may all leave now. The Bakusque then all meet up at Katsuki's desk. So my guess is we are all going to do this project together, said Zero. Yes, and whose house do we want to use to do the project at? Asked Mina. Everyone is talking until Katsuki says, why don't we use Shitty Hair's house? When Kiri heard that, he didn't know what to say, and then he panicked saying, yes, that is fine. Mina then looked at her friend, knowing that he panicked cause he is worried about the others finding out that he is poor, and then they make him feel that he shouldn't be at UA. The group leave the school talking about what they are going to do and many other random things on their walk. When the group gets to the apartment, they go inside and then go to the living room. When they went to the living room, they all sat down and Kiri asked, does anyone want anything to eat or drink? I would like a water please, said Jiru. I will like a soda please bro, said Kami, and Zero agreed with him as well. Bakugo said, I would also take a soda. Shitty Hair. Kiri went to the kitchen to get the drinks and some snacks. Mina then gets up saying, I will be back, I am going to go help Kiri babe. Mina went to the kitchen to help Kiri grab stuff, and then the two went back to the living room. When they get back, they then hand everyone their drinks and they then sit down. So what heroes are we going to do this project about? Asked Mina. I think one of them should be Crimson Riot, said Kiri. I think the other one should be, said Kami. And the last one should be, said Mina. Okay, so does anyone have any other hero they want to do? Mina said, and then no one else said anything. Okay, now let's get started. The group start talking about their project for about hours until they hear the front door open and a young man yells, Kiri, are you home? The group looked at Kiri as he yelled back to the man saying, I am in the living room with some classmates. The man then walks over to the group and they notice how tall and tried the man is. Kami leaned over Kiri asking, who is that? Kiri then looks over at him saying, that is my older brother. Kami then yelled, that is your brother. The young man then laughed saying, yes kiddo, I am his older brother and my name is Izuku. Mina then walked over to Izuku hugging him. Hello Mina. How was your day and what are you guys doing? My day was good Izu, and we are doing a project about heroes. Sounds fun, and could you please introduce me to your friends? Yes, I can Izu. The blonde with the lighting bolt is Kaminari. Kami then waved a little, intimidated by the size of Izuku. Mina then continued. The one with black hair is Zero, purple hair is Jairu and the spiky blonde is Bakugu. The three waved to Izuku. Izuku then said, "It's nice to meet you all, and what would you kiddos want for dinner if you haven't eaten yet?" "I think we will have pizza, bro," said Kiri. "Sounds good, bud. I will go call and you can all have a break from your project. Also, if you guys want, you can stay the night if your parents are okay with it." Izuku then walks out of the room, pulling out his phone to call for pizza. After Izuku left the room, Kami then gets up saying, "That is your brother, man. He is scary and his quirk doesn't match yours." Kiri and Mina laughed with Kiri saying, "Yes, Kami, he is my brother, and don't worry, he's not scary. He is a big softie. Also, his quirk comes from our grandfather." "Hey man, I am wondering, where are your parents?" asked Zero. Kiri then looked down sad saying, "My parents died when I was younger. I don't know what happened and Izuku won't tell me what happened, but he was the one that found them." "Oh my god, sorry for asking, man." "That's okay, Zero bro." The group tried to do something that would make the room less sad. Minutes later, Izuku came back with pizza. "Hey kiddos, I am back with pizza." "Yay, pizza," said Zero and Kaminari. Izuku then puts the pizza on the coffee table and then goes to leave the room. "Hey Izuku, where are you going?" asked Kirishima. "I am going to my room so you can hang out with your friends." "No, it's fine if you hang out with us, if the others are okay with it." The rest of the group said yes to Izuku staying, who then says, "Okay, I will stay for a bit kiddos, because I need to work tomorrow." The group then watched comedy movies while eating pizza. After about hours, everyone fell asleep. Izuku then grabbed some blankets and then puts them on the group, then he goes to his bedroom to go to bed. The next day, the group wakes up to Izuku making breakfast. Izuku then comes into the living room and says, "So you kiddos are finally awake." "What do you mean finally?" asked Kiri. Izuku then looked at the clock and says, "It is, and now I have to get ready for work. So come eat your breakfast, kiddos." Izuku leaves for work and the group eat their breakfast, and then they hang out for the rest of the day. The USJ. A few weeks after the Baku squad meet Izuku, it's time for the class to go to the USSJ. Aizawa is standing at his desk and says, "Okay, you hell spawns, it's time for me to take you to the USJ, and we are going to be meeting Pro Hero, who is going to teach you rescue training." The group goes out to the bus and everyone was talking random things until they got to the USJ. Once everyone goes inside and finds standing there waiting for them. They talk with for a bit as she tells them what they are going to be doing. "Oh cool, you got fake villains," said Kiri as he pointed to the portal. The two pros looked to where he was pointing. "Those are real villains. So please be on guard, students," said as Aizawa went down to start fighting the small-time villains. Out of nowhere came Kurojiri as he started to fight and then separated the students throughout the USJ. Kiri and Katsuki were both teleported together. Kiri got up from where they fell and then ran over to Katsuki, who was still on the ground. "Baku bro, are you okay?" "I am bucking fine, shitty hair." Katsuki got up from the ground and then started to walk away. "Hey man, wait for me." The two then kept walking until they found some villains. One of the villains spotted them, so a fight ensued. The fight was going good until Kiri noticed a villain with a knife going for Katsuki. Kiri was now running to save his friend. "Bakubro, watch out!" yelled Kiri as he pushed Katsuki out of the way, getting stabbed with the knife instead of his friend. "What the hell, shitty HA dash!" Katsuki yelled until he saw Kiri on the floor with the knife in his adman. Katsuki then ran at the villain and then used a very large explosion to knock out the villain. Katsuki then ran over to Kiri, rolling him onto his back, and noticed that Kiri was crying. "Baku bro, I don't want to die. I promise you will not die on my watch." Katsuki then picked up Kiri, being mindful of the knife. He then ran to the front where he sees Almight fighting the Noma. Once he got to the stairs, he laid Kiri back down, and when the class saw them, they came running over. "Bakugo, what happened?" asked Momo as she was making bandages. "He saved me from getting stabbed. I should have been watching my surroundings better." Mina then walked over to Kiri sitting down, then resting his head on her lap. Kiri then looked up at Mina. "Mina, I don't want to die. What about Izuku? He will be so heartbroken." "SSSHHH, you will be okay, Kiri. Momo will fix you up a bit before the ambulance gets here." "Okay, Mina. But if something bad does happen, please tell Izuku that I love him and he is the best person in my life." "No, don't say that, you will tell Izuku yourself." Momo then comes over to do first aid on Kiri, but part way through he passed out. Mina was now full on crying, hoping nothing bad happens. After a bit, All Might defeats the Nomu. The rest of the heroes then show up, arresting the knocked out villain, and the injured are taken to the hospital. Oh, how am I going to tell Izu this? Said Mina. Bakugo then puts a hand on Mina and says, would you like if I tell him with you? Yes, please, Baku babe. I just don't know how he is going to react because this is his little brother and his last living family member. I know this must be hard, Pinky, but me and the squad will be there to help. Thank you so much. She then hugged Bakugo and then the two went to call Izuku, a older brother's rage. Izuku is at work wiping down tables after the lunch rush, and he was then about to go on his lunch break when the phone rings. Izuku coworker Mia picked up the phone saying, hello, Tobean's Cafe speaking, how may I help you? Yes, Izuku is here, just let me call him over. Mia then pulled the phone away from her, coving it with her hand. She then called over to Izuku, who was about to leave for the break room. Hey Izuku, there is someone by the name of Mina Ashido looking for you and it seemed very important. Izuku then ran over to Mia and said, thank you. Izuku then grabbed the phone from her. When he put the phone up to his ear where he could hear crying. Mina, what's wrong? Why are you crying? I'm sorry, Izu, but Kiri, he's... She then stopped talking and then just started to cry more. Mina, sweetie, what happened to my little brother? Is he okay? Just please tell me that my little brother is okay. Izu, he got stabbed. Izuku didn't know how to handle the information. He just heard that his little brother got stabbed, so not knowing how to deal with the information, he slammed his fist onto the counter, cracking it a bit, while he also starts to tear up a little. Mina, do you know how this happened? I don't know the full story, but Bakugo was with him. May I talk to him, please? Izuku then heard the voice of a young male say, hello, Izuku. Hello, Bakugo. Could you please tell me what happened to my brother? Izuku's voice was laced with anger and sadness. Bakugo, a little scared, started to explain what happened to Kiri, and then when he was done explaining, Izuku said, could you please tell me what hospital he is at? Yes, he is at hospital. Thank you, Bakugo. I am going to head over there now. Izuku then hung up the phone crying. Mia then walked back over to the counter that Izuku was done on the phone. Hey Izuku. What did that person on the phone dash? She then noticed Izuku was crying and then the cracked counter. Izuku, what happened? My brother is in the hospital. Oh Zuzu. Mia then hugged Izuku. Mia, I don't know what I am going to do. Just know I will be there for you, Zuzu. Now get to your brother, he needs you. Thanks, Mia. Izuku then ran out the door. Once Izuku got to the hospital, he ran inside to the front desk. Once at the desk, he starts panting and the nurse said, hello, sir. What can I help you with today, sir? Yes, hello. I am looking for Eijiro Kirishima. And how do you know Kirishima? I am his older brother Izuku Kirishima. Okay, sir. The nurse then looked at her computer for about a minute until she says, your brother is in room. Thank you, miss. Izuku then started to speed walk to his brother's room. As he got closer to the room, all he could think was all of the bad things that could happen to his little brother. Once he got to Kiri's room, he saw Mina and Kiri's friends sitting outside the door. Mina noticed Izuku and ran over to Izuku, hugging him. Izuku, you're here. Izuku hugged back, saying, of course I am. When they let go of their hug, Mina then dragged Izuku towards the rest of the group. Once they are in front of the group, Mina says, guys, Izuku is here. Bakugo stood up and bowed to Izuku, saying, I am sorry, Izuku. I should have been paying more attention so this wouldn't have happened. Izuku just looked at Bakugo as Mina held Izuku's arm. She then nudged him as if telling him to say something. Izuku then sighed, saying as he put his hands on Bakugo's shoulders, Bakugo, I am mad at you for what happened. I am just scared that he will die and I will have no one else. Izuku just looked at the ground as he let go of Bakugo's shoulders, but then Bakugo said, if I know should dash. Bakugo then saw Mina do the stop talking motion, and then she pointed at Izuku, who was giving him a death stare. Bakugo then gulped before he continued talking. I mean, if I know Kirishima, he would not die so easily. He would want to live and see you happy. Bakugo then looked at Izuku with a scared smile. I guess you're right, Bakugo. Izuku then walked to the door past the others. Mina then ran over to Bakugo, shaking him while yelling, what were you thinking using that stupid nickname in front of Aiza? You know how protective he is of him. Okay, Pinky, please stop shacking me. I feel like I am going to be sick. Mina then stopped shacking Bakugo. The rest of the group walked over to the two with Zero, saying, Geez man, I thought he was going to kill you. Yeah, he is really scary when he's pissed, said Kami. Well, we should get back to Izuku, cause he is just standing at the door not knowing what to do, said Mina, pointing at Izuku. The group then walked over to Izuku and then Mina grabbed Izuku's hand saying, "Don't worry, we are here for you." Izuku then nodded his head as he then grabbed the door knob and opened the door. When Izuku opened the door, he saw his little brother laying on the bed hooked up to different machines. Izuku then let go of Mina's hand and slowly walked to Kiri's bedside, where he then grabbed Kiri's hand and started to cry. "Please be okay, I can't lose you." The others just stayed at the door and Kyoka said, "This is so hard to watch, he just looks so broken," said Mina. The group watched as Izuku breaks down in front of them. After a few minutes the doctor showed up and asked the group, "Hello young ones. I was wondering if you could tell me who the guardian of Eijiro Kirishima is." "Yes, the man sitting beside Kirishima is his guardian," Mina said as she pointed to Izuku. "Thank you, young lady." The doctor then walked over to Izuku saying, "Hello, sir. I am Dr. Young and I was wondering if we could talk out in the hall for a few minutes, please." Izuku looked to the doctor with a broken expression and then said, "Hello, doctor, and yes, I can talk with you." Izuku then follows the doctor out into a hallway where they talk for about minutes. "I wonder what's taking them so long?" asked Kaminari. "I don't know, bro," said Zero. Right as Zero was done talking, the door opened back up and Izuku walked in with his head down. Mina then ran over to him asking, "Hey Izu, what did the doctor need to talk to you about?" "Oh, he just told me that Kiri should be waking up tomorrow." "That's good to hear, but there is something else on your mind." "I have to start working overtime now, because the hospital bill is so expensive." Bakugo then walked over saying, "Well, maybe we could help you pay for it, cause he is our friend." Zero and Kaminari agree with Bakugo. "No, I can't ask for you to do that, but could you please keep an eye on him for me, please? It's the least we could do." "Thank you, Bakugo. Now I am sorry, but I have to get to my other job." Everyone then says their goodbyes to each other. Izuku then leaves going to his other job, hospital. After about 3 days, Kirishima was able to be released from the hospital. Now standing outside with his friends waiting for Izuku to show up to pick them up to go back to the apartment. "Where is he? He should be here by now," Kiri says, worried about his brother who should have been there by now. Mina puts a hand on Kiri's shoulder saying, "Kiri, you need to calm down. Izu will be here soon to get you dash." Right as Mina was about to finish her sentence, a car pulls up and the two recognize it as Izuku's friend Mia. Mia gets out of the car walking over to the two giving Kiri a hug who says, "Auntie Mia, what are you going here and where is Izuku?" "Don't worry, sweetie, Izuku is at the shop." Looking down, Kiri says, "So Izuku won't be home tonight?" Putting her hand on Kiri, Mia says in her motherly voice says, "He says he is sorry, but he is trying his hardest for you, dear. Just remember, everything he does for you is to keep you happy, dear." "Okay, thanks, auntie." Standing in the back, Kami whispers to Zero, "Kirishima and is a total hottie." "You're right, bro." Kyuka looked at the two with a weird look as she smacks the two as she says, "What the buck, you two don't say that." The two rub their head as they both say fine. Mina then yells to the group, "Are you guys coming?" "Yes," yells back Bakugo. The group walks over to the three. "Hey kiddos," Mia says to the group. They all said hello, but Kami said, "Hey hottie." "Bro, what the buck, that's my brother best friend," Kiri said while giving Kami a odd look. "Haha, nice try, kid, but I am a lesbian," Mia says while laughing. Oh, Kami then looks down. Clapping her hands, Mia says, "Come kids, let's get going, and when we get home I will make some lunch." Everyone then gets into the car and heads home. Hours later, everyone is sitting in living room watching movies until they hear the door open. Kiri gets up and runs to the door where he sees his brother who looks really tried. "Hey brother." Izuku just waves his hand and then walks past Kiri to his room. Kiri then looks down sad while walking back to the couch. "Hey shitty hair, what's got you all mopey? My brother is home and didn't even say hello to me." Mia walks to Kiri as she says, "Don't worry, I will go talk to him." "Thanks, auntie." Mia leaves the room and heads over to Izuku's room where she then knocks on Izuku's door. "Izuku, can we talk please?" Mia heard no answer and kept knocking until she gave up and opens the door. Once opening the door, she finds Izuku sleeping face first on his bed. "Oh, I guess we will talk later." Mia closes the door and goes back to the others. "Poor Izuku is sleeping already," Mia says walking into the room. "Oh, okay." Kiri looks down sad. "Well, I think it's time for you kids to get to bed. You start school tomorrow night," everyone says to each other. It's now Friday and Kiri has barely talked or seen Izuku. The Baku squad is eating lunch and having fun until Bakugo asks, "Shitty hair, how's your brother doing?" Sighing, Kiri says, "Haven't really seen or talked to him. Sorry for asking, Just know we're here for you. Thanks, Baku bro. Is Baku babe being nice? Shut up, Pinky. Fine, you angry dog. What the buck did you call me? Bakugo looked ready to kill Mina. Kiri's phone then started to ring, and looking at it he noticed it was his aunt. Picking up the phone, Kiri says, "Hey auntie, what do you need?" Sounding panicked, Mia says, "Your brother is in the hospital." "What, why?" Kiri said kind of loud so the group looks at him. "Your brother passed out at work. Will he be okay?" "I am not sure, but I am on my way to pick you up." "Okay, auntie. I will get my things ready." "Sounds good, dear. I should be there in about minutes." The two then say goodbye and then hang up the phone. Kiri then drops his phone as he starts to cry. Mina runs to Kiri, giving him a hug as she asks, "Kiri, what did Auntie Mia say?" "Izuku is in the hospital." The rest of the Baku squad looks at each other concerned for Izuku. "Oh no. We should go talk to Nedu." "Okay," Kiri says sadly as Mina takes him to Nedu's office. After leaving the cafeteria, the Baku squad talk about what happened. After talking Nedu about what happened, Kiri was able to get the rest of the day off. Mina waits with Kiri for Mia. Once Mia shows up, she jumps out of the car hugging Kiri. "Come on, sweetie, let's get to the hospital." "Okay, auntie." Kiri then says goodbye Mina as him and Mia get into the car. Once at the hospital, the two head to the front desk asking for where Izuku is. "Could I ask how you know Mr. Kirishima?" "I am his friend and this is his younger brother." "Okay, Mississippi. You can go sit over there and a doctor will come talk to you in a few minutes." "Okay, thank you." Kiri and Mia then go sit down and wait for about minutes before a doctor shows up. "Hello, are you two here for Mr. Kirishima?" Standing up, Mia says. "Yes, we are. So what happened to him?" "Come with me to my office so we can talk in private." The two then follow the doctor to his office. Once in the office, they all then sit down, where the doctor then starts to explain the situation. "So Mr. Kirishima seems to have passed out from not having proper sleep and from also dealing with stress. Has anything changed in Mr. Kirishima's life lately?" "I started high school that is really expensive, so he started a new night job. Then not too long ago I was attacked and was sent to the hospital, and of course the bill was expensive. And because of the amount of bills he has been working more hours lately that I haven't been able to him, and I believe each day he only been able to sleep for 2 hours each." Kiri explains. "Okay," was all the doctor said as he wrote down the information. Then he says, "All I can recommend for now is that Mr. Kirishima relax and sleep. Also that he can stay in low stress situation or his condition could get worse." Mia and Kiri just nod their heads as Mia says, "Could we go see Izuku please?" "Yes, you can. Just know he is most likely sleeping. I also want to say that I want to keep him overnight to keep an eye on him. Now could you follow me please?" They then head to Izuku's room, and once there, Mia and Kiri head inside where they see Izuku sleeping. Kiri then walks over to Izuku, grabbing his hand, and starts to cry as he says to himself, "I should have never gone Yue and should have protected myself better that day so I never got hurt." Mia just stands by the door as she watches her nephew break down. "I hope your boy's life get better soon," Mia thinks to herself. Resting is for the weak. The next day after school, Kiri and Mia head over to the hospital to pick up Izuku. Once there, they head to Izuku's room where they see him sitting by the window looking outside. Hearing the door open, Izuku turns around to see his little brother and best friend. Kiri then runs over to hug Izuku, who in return just pats his head. After a minute, Kiri lets go and looks at his brother, who looks emotionless. "Izuku, are you ready to go home?" asks Mia. Izuku just nods his head as he gets up from his chair. The three then head home. Once home, Izuku just heads to his room without saying anything. Mia goes to Kiri, putting a hand on his shoulder, and says, "Just give Izuku time, he should be back to his normal self soon." "Thanks, Auntie Mia." "You're welcome, dear." The two then hug each other. After a bit, Mia heads to the kitchen to make some dinner. After 2 days of being home and mostly sleeping, Izuku started to get bored and angry. On the third day, Izuku started to get ready for work until Kiri comes out of his room. Seeing Izuku by the front door, Kiri asks, "Izuku, what are you doing?" "I am going to work obviously, but you were told to rest by the doctor." Getting a little frustrated, Izuku snaps, saying, "I know, but I need to work for you to go to school and for everything else. But you really need to relax or else you are going to kill yourself. Ejiro Kirishima, you need to understand that I need to do this. I have already lost 2 days of work." Izuku then turns around to leave and storms out of the house. Kiri starts to cry as he picks up his phone to call Mia. "Hello, sweetie." "Hey, Auntie Mia." "OMG, are you crying?" "Yeah, it's Izuku, he yelled at me." "Why did he?" 'Cause he left for work and I questioned him about it. Don't worry, sweetie, I will go talk to him about it. Also, do you know where he is working today? He is probably at the mechanic shop so he doesn't have to see you. Okay, thank you. I will go get him and drag his ass home. Thanks again, Auntie, says Kiri while laughing a little. You're welcome, dear. The two then hang up the phone. Mia shows up to the shop and storms up to the door and barges in the door while yelling, Izuku, Kirishima, get your ass over here. Oh, someone is in big trouble. Shut up, Craig, yells Izuku angrily. Okay man, just don't hit me with the wrench again. Mia gives Craig a weird look and looks to Izuku as she says, we will talk about that another day, but get your ass over here before I drag you by your ear. Bucking fine. Izuku walks over to Mia, who grabs his hand and drags him outside to the car. Once in the car, Mia looks at Izuku as she yells, what the buck were you thinking? Well, how the buck else am I going to pay off the hospital bills and pay for Ijiro's schooling, plus everything else? Even if you just rest for the week. But knowing you, that won't happen, so maybe you could take the weekend off. Mia then looks at Izuku, who is pasted out. Sleep tight, Izu, Mia says as she then puts a blanket she has in the back seat on Izuku. Once back at the apartment, Mia was able to get Izuku up to the 10th floor and puts Izuku in his room. Mia then writes a note in the kitchen what she told Izuku in the car when he fell asleep. Mia then heads home for the rest of the day. Nezu's offer. It was Friday and Izuku was sitting at home waiting for Kiri to come home from school. Soon he hears the door open and Kiri say, Izuku, I am home and I have some guests with me. Izuku yells back saying he was in the living room. Once in the living room and seeing Kiri guest, Izuku says, Ejiro, why is your teacher here? And his principal, says Nezu as he popped out of Aizawa's scarf. Okay, can someone please explain what's happening? Said Izuku confused. Why yes I can, but could we sit down please? Asks Nezu. Yes, you're welcome to sit down. Sorry for the mess, and Ejiro, could you please go get some drinks for our guests please? Yes, Izuku. What would you like, Mr. Aizawa and Nezu? I will take a coffee please. Green tea please. Sounds good. Kiri then leaves the room to go get the drinks. Okay, now that he's gone, I would like to know why you two are here. Like, did Ejiro do something that he shouldn't have? 'Cause I will teach him a lesson if he has. I like this man already, thinks Aizawa, smirking a bit. Oh no, your son didn't do anything wrong. Wait, you think he's my son? Is he not? Asks Aizawa. Ha, you're dead wrong. That is my little brother. Oh well, I will correct that on his paperwork later. But to get back to our reason being here. We want to put the kids in dorms. Wait, what, why? Asks Izuku confused. It's to ensure the safety of our students. Is that all, or are you trying to get more money out of your students' families? Says Izuku a little aggressive. Yes, it will cost extra, but we mainly have the safety of students on mind at all times. I am sorry, but I don't think I will let my son go into the dorms, Izuku said while crossing his arms. Just then Kiri walks into the room as he says, I got the drinks. Getting a good look at the room, he sees the tension between the three. It looks like I came back at the wrong time. No, you're fine, Ejiro. But I will say again, I will not be putting Ejiro in the dorms. Wait, Izuku, just hear what Nezu has to say please. Looking to his younger brother, he says, there is not enough convincing that will make me feel better about this situation. But please just listen. Fine, says Izuku as he rolls his eyes. Thank you. Yes, thank you. What I would like to say is that young Kirishima here explained your whole situation to us, and I would like to offer you a chance to work together with Aizawa here, and while you work with us, all of young Kirishima's experiences will be paid for. I will also pay for the medical expenses you're still paying off, and you will also be paid. But you will also be living in the dorms with the students. Izuku just sat there stunned. He didn't even know what to say. Kiri just looked over at his brother worried. Izuku, are you okay? Says Kiri worried. Yeah, I am fine. It's just I wasn't expecting this. Nezu, could you please give me a few days to think over this please? Yes, you can, but I hope you agree with my offer. Thanks you, Nezu. You're welcome. Now we need to head to the next house, so I will leave you to your thoughts. Izuku nods his head as he gets up and walks Nezu and Aizawa to the door. Once Nezu and Aizawa leaves, Izuku slides down the door and sits there just thinking about what Nezu said. Izuku's answer. It has now been days since Nezu and Aizawa came to the house to give Izuku offer. Ever since then, Izuku has been really having a hard time deciding whether to accept or not. But on the third day, Izuku is at a cafe with Mia, and soon Izuku brings up the offer he was given. Oh Mia, Ejiro's teacher and principal were over the other day and gave me an offer. Oh yeah, what was this offer? Mia says, really curious. Well, Izuku then proceeds to tell Mia what Nezu said 3 days prior. OMG Izuku, that is so bucking amazing, Mia says while cheering in excitement. Haha, I am guessing from your reaction you think I should take the opportunity. Yeah? You would be stupid not to take it. Why were you not going to? Honestly, I haven't really decided. Well, I am going to say it again, you would be an idiot not to take up the offer. Also, you will be around Ejiro more often. You have always told me that you miss hanging out with him. I guess you're correct. Izuku then goes silent for a moment before he says, I think I have finally made my decision. Nezu is sitting in office drinking tea and watching the students through the cameras until he heard his phone ringing. Picking up the phone, Nezu says, Hello, Principal. Nezu speaking. How may I help you? Hello, Nezu. It's Izuku Kirishima speaking. Well, hello, Mr. Izuku. Have you finally made your decision? Yes, Nezu, I have, and I would like to take you up on that offer. Wonderful. You can start on Monday and don't worry about talking to your jobs or anything else. I deal with all that for you. You just take the weekend off and have fun with young Kirishima. Again, thank you so much, Nezu, and see you Monday. See you Monday. The two then hang up the phone and Nezu smiles. First day at work. Izuku wakes up excited for the day. He gets to start his new job. Once ready, he heads for Kiri's room to wake him up. Ejiro, it's time for you to get up. Kiri opens the door and says, Don't worry, I am already ready. Izuku smiles as he says, Well, if that's the case, then we should start heading to school. I have to go talk with Nezu first anyways. Sounds good, big bro. Also, I am excited for to work in my class. Yeah, I am too, buddy. Izuku says with a sad smile. Are you okay? Yeah. It's just I wish Mom and Dad were here to us now. I do too, but don't be sad. Be happy cause you finally get to achieve your dreams of being a hero. I guess you're right, buddy. Well, we better get going. The two brothers make their way to the school, and once there they go their separate ways. School was now starting and Aizawa walks into the classroom. Everyone then sits down as he says, I have an announcement to make. Starting today we will have a new teacher in this room. Everyone was shocked and Kaminari says, Are you leaving? No, not yet. I still have to teach you little shits, but this person is going to be my helper for the next 3 years. Now everyone give a warm welcome. Just then the door opens for the class to see a very tall man with horns. Kiri was excited to see the man, and the Boku squad was shocked to see them. Walking up to stand beside Aizawa, the man says, Hello, my name is Izuku Kirishima, and it's nice to meet you all. Ida then says, Do you happen to be related to Kirishima? Yes, I am his brother, in fact his brother. But wait, you two don't look alike, says Momo. Well, my quirk dragon comes from my grandfather. Does anyone else have a question? Shoji then raises his hand as he says, Are you a pro hero? I am not, but just know I am good at fighting. I used to be a bouncer and I also helped train Ejiro. Aizawa then speaks up as he says, If there is no more questions, I would like to get on with the day, please. No one else raises their hands. Good. Now go get your hero costumes on, you're going to fight Izuku here. Izuku gives the class a devilish smile, which made a few of the students scared. Seeing this, Aizawa thinks this is going to be the best day ever. He then smiles to himself a bit. Once everyone was ready, Aizawa explained that all at once everyone's going to fight Izuku. But at the same time they have to get across the fake city while also finding civilians to rescue. Everyone gets into place, and soon the manhunt begins. The class runs together, but soon they heard a loud roar. What was that? Says Shoji looking around. Our worst nightmare, said Kirishima as he backs away in fear. Why are you so scared? Asks Kaminari. You have never trained with my brother, so you don't know how crazy and scary he is. I have to agree with what Kiri says, Mina said while shaking in fear. Soon the class heard the roar again, and eventually they see a large dragon show up. Bucking run, was all Kirishima says while running away, and the class soon follows suit. In the viewing room, Aizawa watches in happiness while eating popcorn. This is one of the best decisions ever, says Aizawa while cackling. After minutes the class finally makes it to the end of the fake city. Aizawa stands there as he says, While it seems you problem children have survived your first day with the new teacher, Kirishima, are you sure your brother isn't a pro hero? Says Tsu. Yes, I am sure, Tsu, but for a few months he was a bouncer. Your brother is someone I wouldn't want to mess with. Yeah, I have to agree with Shoji. Your brother is scary. says Ojiro. What about me being scary? Says Izuku while he is standing behind the class. After hearing the voice, the class jumps in fear and turns around to see Izuku standing there with his arms crossed. Well, brother, your dragon form and how you train can be pretty scary. You almost ate me, says Mineta. Izuku gives Mineta an evil look as he says, well, if I ever hear you being rude to the girls, I might have to actually eat you. You wouldn't dare. Oh, I would dare, Izuku says while licking his lips. Mineta then looks to Aizawa. Are you going to do that? I don't know what you're talking about, but if we're done here, I would say you hell spawns did pretty good. Now you can all go get ready for lunch. Class then leaves and Aizawa and Izuku walk towards the teacher lounge while making small talk. Dorm mom. Izuku has been working with Class 1A for about a month now, and they have started to notice that they act like a mom to them. Sitting in the common room, Kaminari says, have you ever noticed how much Izuku takes care of us almost like a father or mother? Oh my goodness, Kamababe, where did you get this thought? Asks Mina. I don't know. He just acts like a parent, especially with Kiribro. Yeah, I have never told him, but I really do see my brother as parent figure, as he is the only person in my life for the longest time. That is sweet, Kirishima, says Momo. But are we going to agree with Kaminari said? Asks Tokoyami. Well, what's your opinion, Tokoyami? Says Shoji. I can understand what he is saying. Izuku does take really good care of us and pretty much does everything around here when he's not busy in the classroom. I think we should do something to show him how much we appreciate him and what he has done for us in the past month, says Momo. I agree, Momo, but what should we do? Says Ida. What if we make him breakfast tomorrow morning and take over the cleaning for the day? Says Mina. I agree, and I believe he would like the break. The class then kept talking about the plan and how they agree with the idea. The next morning, Izuku wakes up to the smell of bacon and eggs. After getting dressed, he heads downstairs to see Bakugo, Momo, and Sato in the kitchen. Good morning, kids. What are you doing? We are making breakfast for you and the others. We wanted to give you a break and say thank you for everything you've done for us in the past month. That's sweet of you kids, but you didn't have to do that, Izuku said while giving a soft smile. Kirishima then walks in while saying, but we had to. You have done lots for us. The few people who were in the room agreed with Kirishima. Thinking to himself, Izuku says, what a wonderful bunch of kids. Just then the rest of the class starts to walk in as Kaminari announces, all the cleaning is done. Thanks, bro, says Kirishima while giving Kaminari a bro fist. Wow, kiddos, thanks, says Izuku impressed. Well, why don't we get this breakfast party started? Says Kaminari while cheering. The class and Izuku then have breakfast together while also inviting Aizawa. The training camp disaster. It's been months since Izuku started working at UA. Everyone is sitting in class waiting for the day to end. Once the bell rang, everyone started to get ready to leave, but then Aizawa says, don't forget that tomorrow is training camp and make sure you're up early. It was the next day and everyone was on the bus talking until Tsu asked, Mr. Kirishima, why didn't you become a pro hero if you're such a good fighter? Once hearing the question, everyone looks at Izuku and Tsu. Izuku sighs knowing this question would come up soon. Looking over to his little brother Kiri just nods in approval. You if want to know, then please listen carefully, and this is a sad story. Izuku then proceeds to explain their life story. Once finished, he looks up to see many of the students sad looking. Well, instead of being sad, we should be excited for training camp, Izuku says with a big smile, trying to make the group happy. Soon the group went back to them crazy selves. After about 3 hours, the bus stops and everyone gets out. Hello, kittens. The group looks over to see 2 girls in cat suits waving. Hello, Pixie Bob and Mandalay, greets Aizawa. Then turning to the group, Aizawa says, kids, this is Pixie Bob and Mandalay from the Wild Hussy Cats. Zero then raises his hand as he says, I am just wondering where is the camp. Haha, you cute. But the camp is right over there and you will have to make your way through the forest, Pixie Bob says with a shit-eating grin as she points to the camp. Kaminari then yells, get to the bus. Oh no you don't. The class was now at the bottom of the cliff and looking up. Pixie Bob yells, watch out for the monsters. I wonder what that means, says Kirishima. But he was then punched into a tree. Kiri, yells Mina as she runs over. Back on the cliff, Izuku looks at Pixie Bob with an angry expression as he says, my brother better make it out alive or there will be a burnt cat. Izuku then puffs smoke out of his nose to express his anger. Backing up, Pixie Bob looks to Aizawa saying, Are you alright with this? Aizawa just shrugs his shoulders as he says, don't kill his brother and you're fine. The four then make their way to the camp. 3 hours later the students arrive and Mandalay says, you kids did better than I thought. How well did we do? Asks Sita. To be honest, you did shit, says Izuku walking to the group while holding Kota. Wow, it seemed you were able to friend Kota, says Mandalay in surprise. Only because Mr. Kirishima is different than these heroes, Kota says while giving the heroes an angry face. Ha, calm down, kiddo. Okay, fine. Okay, well, kiddos, why don't you go clean yourselves up and then we will have dinner? The kids cheered in excitement for food. It was nearing the end of the week and the class was getting ready to do a fear test in the woods, but felt like something was wrong. Aizawa, something doesn't feel right. Like something bad is about to happen. I have to agree with you on that, but we should be good out here, if you say so. Izuku shrugs his shoulders as he walks away to find Kota. Not even minutes later the class was attacked and Aizawa thinks I should have bucking listened to him. Izuku and Kota are sitting on the cliff side talking until Izuku smells something. Mr. Kirishima, is something wrong? Yes, Kota, run back to the camp and find your aunt. Okay. Kota starts to run away until he screams in fear. Izuku goes to where Kota is to see him frozen in fear seeing Muscular. Now it's time to kill you, little brat, and maybe you say hello to your dear mom and dad. Not if I have anything to say about, says Izuku as he attacks Muscular. After defeating Muscular, we see Izuku run with Kota on his back to find the other pro heroes. Aizawa sees Izuku and yells, Izuku, over here. What's the situation, Aizawa? Asks Izuku as he puts Kota down. First, I want to say sorry for not listening to you. The league is after Katsuki Bakugo. Well, I am going to say I told you so. You take Kota and I will go help the kids. Pretty much everything goes the same as canon. But once Dabi is going through the portal with Katsuki, Izuku jumps at them, tackling Dabi. But before Izuku could throw Katsuki back through the portal, it closes. Kirishima, seeing this, screams out to his brother, Big Brother. Todoroki and Shoji try their best to comfort Kirishima, but it wasn't really helping. Todoroki then says, don't worry, Kirishima, we will get your brother back in one piece. I haven't known him for very long, but your brother is one of the toughest people I have ever known. Wiping his tears, Kirishima looks up to Todoroki saying, thanks to Dubro. No problem, Kirishima. The group then make their way to the camp and see Aizawa run up to them. There you are. But where is Izuku and Katsuki? The group looks down in disappointment as Todoroki says, I am sorry to say, but Mr. Izuku was trying to save Bakugo and failed. They both were kidnapped by the League. Damn it, says Aizawa in frustration. Well, we better head back to the others and we will figure out a plan to save them. Everyone then makes their way back to the main camp area. Torture. Once Izuku was through the portal, Dabi attacks Izuku with a fire punch which knocked him out cold since he was tired from not sleeping from being worried that something was wrong all week and his fight from Muscular. Damn, he went out better than I expected, says Dabi, and then he looks over to Katsuki, who's just watching in fear that someone as strong as Izuku got knocked out. Dabi then lights his fist as he says, now it's your turn, brat. Dabi then proceeds to knock out Katsuki. Well, that's out of the way. Now to just wait for the others. Dabi then sits on the couch watching TV waiting for the others to show up, and once they got there they tied Izuku and Katsuki up. The next day wakes up with his head in pain, and he then hears Katsuki say, Sensei, you're awake. Yes, but in a bit of pain. But more importantly, how are you? I am good other than being tied up. That's good. Izuku then looks to the door in front of him once he gets the smell of the League of Villains. The LOV is coming, so keep your trap shut and I will do the talking. Katsuki just nods his head in agreement. The then opens and shows Shigaraki in the front with Dabi and Toga behind him. Well, if it isn't the little hero and whoever the buck you are, says Shigaraki while dismissing Izuku. Hey, don't talk bad about him like that, says Katsuki angrily. This guy is your teacher, don't make me laugh. I have never seen him before, says Shigaraki laughing. Well, I think he would look cute bleeding, says Toga while pointing her knife at Izuku. Toga, enough. You will get your chance later, but right now we have some questions to ask. Ah, fine, Shigaraki, pouts Toga as she crosses her arms. Shigaraki then walks over to Katsuki as he says, I have one question for you, Katsuki Bakugo. How is it that you can be a hero, but we cannot? What do you mean by that, villain? Says Katsuki confused. What I mean, little hero, is that how are you a hero if you're so rude to people? But us villains are bad, even though some of us wanted to be heroes so badly? Because you buckers killed people and ruined innocent people's lives, says Katsuki angrily. Well, in my eyes, you're just as bad as us. What do you mean? Dabi walks over as he pulls out a picture and says, Don't you remember Kana? Katsuki's eyes widen as he says, Don't you dare bring her into this. But why not? You are the reason this girl is dead, and all because she didn't have Quirk. Katsuki looks to Izuku, who looks back with a blank expression. I am sorry, Sensei. I am not mad. I am just very disappointed in you. We will talk about this later. Yes, sir. Well, not that's over with. Why don't we talk about the reason we wanted you? And why is that, you crusty asshole? Ha ha ha, see, this is what I mean. You meant to be a villain. Plus you would be perfect for the team. Yeah, right, like I am going to join you, Bucky RS. Well, you're going to or dash. Shigaraki snaps his fingers and Toga throws a knife at Izuku that lodges into his shoulder. Else something worse is going to happen to your sensei. Still don't know who the buck you are, but oh well, you might be useful as a Nomu, says Shigaraki as he walks away shrugging his shoulders. Sensei, Katsuki yells as he looks over to Izuku, who is now grunting in pain from the knife. I will be fine, Bakugo. No, you won't be. Back at UA, Aizawa just finished explaining to Nedu what happened the day before. This is terrible news, but how is young Kirishima holding up? Not good. He's not really talking to anyone other than Mina. And how are the other students? Momo is in the hospital, and I believe she said something about putting a tracker on one of the Nomu. Wonderful, if you could be able to get her to make a device to track the tracker, that would be very much appreciated. I will get right onto it, sir. Aizawa then leaves the room, but no one noticed that Hagakure was there listening. I should go tell the others, she thinks to herself before head back to the dorm rooms. Once back in the dorms, Hagakure finds everyone sitting in the living room, so she tells them what she overhears. We need to go see Momo right away, says Kirishima, determined. I love your energy, Kirishima, but we need to leave this to the pros, says Ida as he chops his hand. I understand that, Idabro, but this is my brother and best friend we are talking about, says Kirishima as his voice rises a bit. Mina gets in front of Kirishima as she says, I know you're worried about Baku Babe and Big Bro, but like Class Prez says, we need to leave this to the pro heroes. Please, I just don't want something to happen to you as well. Kirishima sighs in defeat as he says, Fine, Mina, but only for you. I'm going to head to my room to think about stuff. Kirishima then heads upstairs to his dorm room. It's been 3 days now, and Izuku wakes up in pain and the sound of Katsuki screaming. I will never join you, and I will never tell you UA's secrets. You keep saying this even though you know the consequences, smiles Dabi insanely as he walks over to Izuku, who is covered in blood and injuries. Don't you lay another hand on him, you villain, Katsuki says, trying not to sound desperate, but his lip was quivering in fear. Dabi had made his way to Izuku and grabbed his hair as he says, Well, it looks like you don't care what happens to him. He looks like he's going to die even though you don't want him hurt. So what is it, hero? Join us and tell us what we want, or watch this innocent man dies right in front of your eyes. Katsuki's eyes widen as he thinks I am no better than him. Then he looks to the beaten up Izuku and Katsuki thinks more, I just killed my best friend's brother. Dabi then speaks again when he says, Well, hero, what's your answer? I don't know. There was then a quiet voice that says, Katsuki, don't worry about me, and don't you dare think you're a bad person for this. Katsuki's eyes widen when he hears Izuku's voice and then says, No, I don't believe you. I have done bad things and you are in this situation because of me. Katsuki's eyes were tearing up. No matter what you did or what happens now, I don't blame you. Dabi, getting upset, chops Izuku in the neck, knocking him out. Then the door opens and we see the rest of the league, and Dabi says, Coming to join in the fun? No, Dabi, but someone's here to talk with the little hero, says Compress. Just then a tall man in a mask walks in behind the others. The villains then bow to the mysterious person. Seeing the person, Katsuki felt a fear he's never felt before. Well, hello, Katsuki Bakugo, says the person. Who are you? Says Katsuki in fear. Me, I am AFO. Katsuki's eyes widen from hearing stories of the man. So Bakugo, I hear you don't want to listen to us and you're risking your teacher's life in the process. But what if we make it worse for him? What do you mean? Well, if you don't do what we want, we will make your dear teacher into a Nomu. Katsuki's eyes widen in fear as he then yells, I know you can't do that to him. Watch me, boy. AFO says, not keeping to his last sentence, and just wants to see Katsuki suffer. Looking at this man's quirk, I would definitely say he would make a great Nomu. Don't you think, Katsuki? AFO says while holding Izuku's chin. No, he will make a great hero. But how will he be hero if he's a Nomu? questions AFO. "'Cause me and the others won't let you. How though you can't do anything, and plus what are the heroes going to do?" "He's right, I can't do anything," Katsuki thinks. "Well, time to get started." AFO snaps his fingers as then Anoma comes and takes Izuku away as the other leave the room, leaving Katsuki to scream out for Izuku. Rescue/brother? It's been a few days since Izuku was taken from the room, and all Katsuki could think was, what are they doing to him? And what will Kirishima think if I couldn't have protected his big brother? Katsuki just sits there thinking over all the different possibilities of what has happened to Izuku. But then suddenly Katsuki's thoughts were disrupted from some loud commotion. Katsuki was really trying to hear what was happening until he was able to recognize a voice all too similar. "Sensei, I am in here!" Katsuki screams at the top of his voice, hoping to get his teacher's attention. Seconds later the door was broken down, and walks through is Aizawa and Mike. Aizawa looks around and says, "Katsuki, where is Izuku?" Katsuki looks down and says, "They took him away to make him into a mindless monster." Aizawa's eyes widen as well as he punches the wall as he says, "God bucking damn it, we didn't make it in time." Mike then says as he's untying Katsuki, "Aizawa, you need to calm down before you do something stupid." "You're right, Mike, but our first priority is to get you out of here, Bakugo." The three then make their way out of the demolished building. Outside they could see Almight and AFO having their fight, same as canon. Once Katsuki ends up with his rescue group, he gets grabbed by Kirishima, who shakes as he says, "Where is my brother? I am not sure they separated us, but please stop shaking me." Kirishima puts Katsuki down and says, "What do you mean? Please explain more." Katsuki was almost scared to speak with how bossy and angry Kirishima looks and is acting. Mustering up the courage, Katsuki explains the whole situation to Kirishima. Once finished, Katsuki looks up to Kirishima, who's looking down crying, but then punches Katsuki in the face as he says, "How could you do that to my brother? I'm sorry, Kirishima. I tried everything, but nothing worked." Kirishima turns around and is about to walk away until he turns his head slightly and says, "I wish I was never your friend." Kirishima then proceeds to storm off into the crowd. Ida then pats Katsuki's shoulder as he says, "Just give him some time to think." Momo then says, "We should start to head out before we're caught." "Oh, you don't have to worry about that." Walks out Aizawa from the shadows with his arms crossed. "Aizawa," screams the three. "Yes, now." "Ida and Momo, I am disappointed in you." Momo and Ida look down in sadness. "But I am also proud of the risk you took for your classmate." "We should also go find Kirishima." "Yes, we should," says Ida while he does his hand chop. So the four went to look for Kirishima. Once they find Kirishima, Katsuki runs up to him saying, "Kirishima, you can't just run away like that." Once close enough, Katsuki notices something is wrong and looks to where Kirishima is looking and sees on the big screen a more dragon-looking Izuku. "Brot her," was all Kirishima could stammer out as he watches his brother fight All Might. Katsuki didn't know what to do or say as this was his fault. So he just stands there in shock watching the battle play out. Soon the fight was over and All Might did his final smash to keep Izuku down. As soon as All Might raised his fist in victory, Kirishima runs towards the scene. Katsuki and the others follow behind Kirishima. Kirishima kept running until he got to his brother and hugged his body while crying. "Brother, what happened to you and who did this to you?" "I did, boy," says a menacing voice. Kirishima looks up to see AFO standing over his brother's body. "You did this to him," screams Kirishima as he activates his quirk to attack AFO, but before his attack could land, someone stops his attack. Surprised to it was his brother, who's holding his fist so tight that his hand started to crack. Kirishima looks at his brother with tears in his eyes from the pain, but Izuku's eyes were empty and fully white. "Let go, brother, you're hurting me," screams Kirishima through tears, but all Izuku does roar at him. But internally Izuku is yelling at himself to stop hurting his brother. Izuku then throws Kirishima away and goes to stand beside AFO, who pets Izuku while saying, "Well, this reunion was fun, but I got some evil stuff to go do." The two then disappear into a portal. Katsuki goes and helps Kirishima as he says, "Again, Kirishima, I am sorry that this happened." Kirishima pushes Katsuki away as he says angrily, "I don't care if you're sorry, but now my brother doesn't even recognize me and he hurt me. So no, you don't get forgiveness, and I want to be left alone right now." Kirishima then limps away as Momo follows to help and texts Mina what happened. "God bucking dame if this is all my fault," says Katsuki as he balls his hands into fist. Aizawa puts a hand on Katsuki's shoulder as he says, Just give him time, cause I feel like if the roles were reversed it would play out the same. Plus you need to stop beating yourself up over it. Mistakes happen and we will find a way to fix it. Thanks, Sensei. You're welcome, kid. Now let's get back so I can punish some kids. Aizawa says as he looks over to Ida, who is slowly backing up. You're not getting away. Aizawa throws his scarf at Ida and starts to drag him back to the dorms while Katsuki walks beside Aizawa. Inner thoughts. Izuku wakes up in a strange dark place. Confused, he walks around yelling out, Aizawa, little bro, Mina? Izuku calls out for what feels like hours until he hears a familiar voice. Izuku, is that you, my baby dragon? Izuku spins around and sees his mother. Mama? Says Izuku, stammering. Yes, it's me, dear. She opens her arms towards Izuku for a hug, but he hesitates and says, How is it that you're real? You're supposed to be dead. You left me and Ejiro by ourselves. Don't worry about it, my little dragon, and come give mommy a hug. Izuku's mom walks towards him with her arms out. No, this isn't real. Izuku starts to back up, confused and scared, until he hits a wall he doesn't remember seeing there. I assure you, dear, this is real. Izuku's mom finally gets a hold of him and starts to caress Izuku's hair as she whispers into his ear. Don't worry, baby dragon, mommy's here. Mama, says Izuku one last time before falling asleep. Izuku's mom starts to laugh evilly and her body starts to morph into AFO, who says, That was easier than I expected. He then picks up Izuku and walks to a vault that appeared out of thin air. Setting Izuku inside, he says, Now to keep your true self in here. AFO then vanishes. I miss you, brother. It's been weeks since the Almight versus AFO and Izuku being turned into a Nomu, and Kirishima has been sulking in his room ever since, and this has worried the class, especially Bakugo and Mina. I can't take this anymore. What do you mean, Raccoon Eyes? I mean about Kiribade. And what about him? Asks Kaminari. Denki, I am aware that you are stupid, but that question was really dumb. Kaminari then just shrugs his shoulders and Mina face palms in frustration. Well, back to topic. I am worried about Kirishima and he hasn't left his room at all and I am not sure what to do. I understand your frustration, Mina, but we need to let him come out on his own time. So thing like this needs time to heal from. But Izuku is all that Kirishima has left. Mina starts to cry as she says, I just don't want to lose Kiribabe as well. I've already lost the person that's like. No is my older brother. So can I not worry about my family? If it makes you feel better, why don't we go check on him after dinner? Yeah, that will make me feel better. Thanks, Ida. You're welcome, Mina, and that's what friends are for. The two then smile at each other. Okay, all done with emotional crap. I got some dinner to go make. Bakugo then walks out to the kitchen. About hours later we see Mina, Ida and Katsuki walking to Kirishima's room. Mina, carrying the food, says, I am worried. Just tell that worry to shut up or I will beat it out of you. Haha, thanks Bakubabe, even though you just threatened me. That's what I do best. Well, you need to stop doing it, says Ida, doing his chopping motion. Never. Ugh, I will never get it through your head. Like I said, never. Sure. We're here. The two boys then went quiet. Knocking on the door, Mina says, Kiribabe, we came with some food. You need to eat something and I am starting to get worried about you. So please open the door so I can give you some food. The door opens slightly and Kiri pokes his head out as he says, Don't worry about me, Mina. There's no point. What do you mean there is no point? Also let us in. Us? Yes, Ida and Bakubabe are here. Mina moves out of the way to show the two as they both wave. Kirishima sighs as he then opens the door to let the three in. The three walk in to see the room in a total mess. What the hell happened in here? I got angry. But Kiri, that doesn't mean you destroy your room. Also you look like shit. Finishes Bakugo. Well, what do you expect me to look like when I don't have a reason to go on? Being a hero, your friends are not reason enough to go on? You two make it sound like Izuku is dead. The two look at Bakugo, who continues on saying, The Bucker's not dead and it takes a lot to take him down. What I know about him, he could probably survive an explosion. Kirishima looks down and starts to cry as he says, But I don't want to lose him and I have already lost mom and dad, so I don't want to lose anyone else. Mina then grabs Kirishima in a hug and the two fall to the floor as Mina says, I understand, Kiri, and she pulls away and looks at Kiri as she continues to say, And we will save him. The two then hug again. Ida then whispers to Bakugo, I believe this is our sign to leave. Yeah, let's leave the two alone for eyes. The two boys then leave the room to leave the other two alone. Found you, brother. It's been a week since Mina, Bakugo, and Ida confronting Kirishima. In that time, Kiri started to train really hard and hang out with everyone again. But some nights he would have nightmares of Izuku in his monster form. It was terrifying to say the least, but he knew deep down that his big brother was still there. There was then a knock on the door and Kirishima walks over and opens the door to see Aizawa standing there. Yes, Mr. Aizawa? Hey kid. How have you been feeling lately? Angry, sad, scared, and tried. Well, maybe you should start talking to someone about it or maybe writing it in a journal. Maybe, but I know you're here for something else. Yes, I am kid. Come with me, we will walk and talk, okay? Kirishima closes the door behind him and starts to follow Aizawa. So what did you need, sir? Do you remember that investigation about the little girl Eri? The girl that Mirio found with Overhaul? Yes, that one. What about her? Well, we got the okay from the commission to save her, and it's believed that Overhaul has been working closely with the LOV. Kirishima stops in his tracks and his eyes widen as he says, does this mean that I can get my brother back? Yes, there is a strong possibility, and I promise you with all my power we will get your brother back. Aizawa then feels a thud against his body, and looks down to see Kirishima hugging him. Kirishima lets go and asks, did you just need to tell me this or is there something else? You and a few of your classmates are going to join us in the raid. Hell yeah. I'm going to beat their asses. I'm sure you are, kid. He's starting to sound like Bakugo now, Aizawa thinks concerned. The two then make their way to the meeting where Kirishima sees some of his other classmates. Kirishima smiles and thinks I will get you back, brother. At Overhaul's compound, Izuku is sitting in a cell with a little girl on his lap. Soon there was a loud noise and Izuku looks up to see Overhaul running and saying, come on you beast, grab Eri and let's go, the heroes are here. Izuku stands up and starts to follow Overhaul with the sleeping Eri. But soon Overhaul was attacked by Mirio. Get her out of here at all costs, screams Overhaul, and Mirio looks over in surprise to see his new teacher. Mr. Kirishima, is that you? Izuku growls in anger, but then starts to run away. Mr. Kirishima, come back. Mirio starts to chase Izuku, but Izuku was pretty fast for his size. Soon Eri wakes up from the commotion and she says, Kitty, what's happening? Izuku does a low rumble to reassure her, but then Mirio was able to catch up and punch Izuku in the face. In doing so made Izuku drop Eri, but Mirio was able to catch her in time. I've got you now, Eri. Who are you? Let me go. Eri was hitting Mirio on the chest, and he looks at her sadly. Eri, I'm here to save you from the bad people, but Kitty's not a bad guy. I want Kitty. Let me tell you this, Eri. I was friends with Kitty, he just doesn't remember though. Really? Yes, really, and his little brother is also here. Kitty had a brother. He sure does. Now let's get you out of here before they find us. Okay. Mirio and Eri make their way, but soon found themselves at the main battle. Mirio watched the battle and eyes then widen when he sees Night Eye get stabbed by Izuku's claws. Mirio then sees red as he starts to fight Izuku with everything he's got. Eri watches the intense battle from behind a spike. Kitty, please be okay. Izuku was covered in blood and some not even his as he keeps roaring at Mirio. Still as strong as ever, sir. I guess that means I have to use my secret weapon. Mirio then powers up % of OFA and sends a really powerful plow at Izuku, sending him across the room. Izuku then falls to the ground and Eri runs over screaming, Kitty, wake up, please, Kitty. I don't want to go back with the mean bread man without you. From all the sudden stress, Eri's powers start to act out and get used on Izuku. Seeing this makes her freak out more. Soon Aizawa was able to come to the rescue and turn off Eri's quirk. Eri's body then falls limp, but even laying there passed out, Izuku's arms catched Eri by instinct. Good one, Mr. Aizawa. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would have done. You and I have some serious talking when we get back. I saw happen before she freaked out. Aizawa then walks away to check on Eri, Izuku, and Night Eye. Eventually the others arrived, including Kirishima, who once seeing his brother's body runs over and asks, How is he, Mr. Aizawa? I'm not sure, kid, but thanks to Eri he's back to looking like normal. The only thing is I don't know if the mind control still works. Whatever, I'm just happy to have him back. Also, I think you might have a new baby sister. What do you mean? Izuku here was like a protector of Eri, and from what I heard she calls him Kitty. Kirishima laughs and says, Wow, my big brooding brother has cute nickname. Yes, very funny. But we should get everyone to the hospital. Right, yes sir. Glad to have you back, Izuku. It was hard dealing with these little shits without you. You're home now. Everyone is sitting at lunch and Kirishima is sadly poking at his food and sighs sadly. Yo bro, what's wrong? asks Zero. Well, it's been 2 weeks since Big Brother has come home, but he hasn't waken up yet. Don't worry, shitty hair, he will wake up, but... Bakugo turns away as his voice softens and continues. Do you think Izuku will be mad at me? Well, it was my brother's choice, so I don't think he will be mad. One thing I'm worried about, though, is the little girl Eri you told us about, says Mina. Oh yeah, her. I hope she's doing okay. Aizawa said last week she had a fever, but now she has not left my brother's side since Monday night. Wow, she must feel really safe with him. For fuck's sake, she calls Izuku kitty, says Bakugo. The group then laughs at Bakugo's comment. Aizawa and Mike are sitting in Izuku hospital room watching Izuku and Eri sleep, hoping for Izuku to wake up. Eventually Aizawa sees movement, and Aizawa shakes Mike awake, whispering, "Wake up, it looks like Izuku is waking up." Mike then wakes up right away, and the two then watch as Izuku slowly wakes up. Feeling the movement, Eri wakes up to see Izuku looking right at her. She then hugs Izuku as she screams, "Kitty, I'll go get the doctor, and I'll call Kirishima." Hearing the name Kirishima, Izuku looks over to Aizawa and reaches out a hand as he says, "Where is baby brother?" Aizawa grabs Izuku's hand as he says, "I have to call your brother, and he will be here right away." Okay. Just as Aizawa walks out the room to make the phone call, Mike walks in with the doctor. "Keep an eye on Izuku, while I go make a phone call." "Will do, friendo." Aizawa grabs his phone from his pocket and calls Kirishima. "Hello, Mr. Aizawa?" "Hey kid. What are you doing at the moment?" "I'm in hero training with All Might." "Alright, hand the phone to him." "Yes, I can, but can I ask why?" "Your brother is awake and he wants you here." "Okay, I'll be right there." Kirishima hands the phone to All Might and Aizawa explains what's happening, but before he finishes, Mike rushes out while saying, "Aizawa, get in here quick." "Sorry, All Might, I need to go." Aizawa then hangs up the phone and rushes into the room. Once he enters, he sees Izuku hiding in the corner with Eri crying in his arms, while a doctor tries to grab Eri. "Enough!" yells Aizawa with his quirk activated. Everyone looks over to Aizawa, who angrily asks, "What happened in here?" Mike explains and Aizawa looks at both of the doctors then says, "You're both idiots." "Why?" asks Dr. Connor. Aizawa explains what happened with Izuku and Eri. "Sorry," bows Dr. Connor and Dr. Woodstone. Minutes later, Kirishima comes running into the room yelling, "Where's my brother?" Aizawa then shushes Kirishima as points over to Izuku, who is sleeping with Eri curled up against him. Kirishima, seeing this, takes out his phone and takes a picture, then sends to the Baku Squad group chat. Then turning to Aizawa, Kirishima asks, "What happened?" Aizawa explains, and then Kirishima walks over to Izuku, grabs his hand and whispers, "Brother, I'm happy you're home now." Izuku grips Kirishima's hand as whispers back sleepily, "Baby brother, Big Brother is home now." "And I'm so happy you are," says Kirishima while he starts to tear up. Aizawa, standing by the door with Mike, says, "It's nice to see them reunited." "It sure is, Aizawa." The end. It's been 2 years since we got my brother back and rescued Eri. In that time, Aizawa and Mike decided to adopt Eri. They also took in my brother, as he was still pretty out of it after everything. But today is the day me and my classmates graduate and become full-fledged heroes. Right now, though, I'm sitting with my friends to wait for diplomas. I would like to invite Izuku Kirishima up to the stage, says our principal Nedu. We see my brother Izuku walk up on stage with our new little sister Eri. "Hello, my name is Izuku Kirishima. Not many of you may not know me, as I wasn't a teacher here for very long, as I had an incident in your first year. But I want to say how proud I am of you kids, especially 3A. It's hard to believe you kids are graduating today, but now you kids get to be true heroes. I can't wait to see what the future brings you." My brother then walks off the stage carrying Eri on his shoulders, then goes and sits back down with Mike and Aizawa. A few hours later, we're all at the bar having an after party for graduation, where my brother comes up to me saying, "Brother, can I talk with you?" "Yes, follow me." "Okay." I follow my brother outside, where he sits on a bench and pats the spot beside him, telling me to come sit with him. "What did you want to talk to me about, Izuku?" Izuku puts a hand on my shoulder as he says, "Brother, I am proud of you and I can't wait to see you become one of the greatest heroes in Japan." I feel like there is a but though. There is. Izuku then starts coughing to the point where coughs up blood. "OMG, Izuku, are you okay?" I grab Izuku and help him sit up. "No, Aijuru, I am sorry to say this are your graduation night, but I'm dying." "What, why? What happened to cause this?" Izuku starts to tear up as he says, "Yeah, I've been sick for a while now. It happened not long after Mom and Dad passed away." "Was it because of your heavy workload and taking care of me?" Yes, that's part of it, but most of has come up from your first year when I was kidnapped. What do you mean by that? My brother started crying more than he has ever before. AFO poisoned me. What? Yes, I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I hug my brother as I bawl my eyes out, and we sit there crying in each other's embrace. After a few, I let go of the hug and Izuku tells me, I'm sorry to say this, but I am leaving Japan tonight. Why? I want to see the world before I pass. I understand. Again, I'm sorry, but I should get going. Izuku stands up and starts walking away. I stand up as I yell out to my brother, I am going to miss you, brother. Izuku just raises his hand and waves goodbye. I watch as my brother walks into the sunset. I'm going to miss you, brother.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.